And another one. Okay. Hope your day is going well. Hope you're feeling blessed. If you're new, welcome. If you've watched my videos before, you already know to expect, but you have no idea what to expect. I say and do anything. I do hope that you're well, though, and that you are finding yourself. That's it, that you're finding yourself. Okay, that just dropped a few. Let's see what we got here. Okay, these two cards came out first, and then this one, and then this one. Okay. These three on the bottom fell face down. The one on the top fell face up, and I put it at the top. And I'm getting some vibes here. Okay, sorry. Ugh. Okay. Okay. We'll accept that, I guess. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the card that I have on top is this Four of Coins in the upright. And this guy don't look too happy. He's like a little toll booth, and he looks like a toll booth of some sort, or like, I actually don't know what he looks like, but that's what it reminds me of, is a toll booth. And he's got a coin in each hand. He's got a coin down on the floor, and then there's this dark coin, this black star over his head. And he doesn't look happy. And so it's giving me this, like, this is a leader of some sort, whether it's the leader of just like a family or a small group or some type of weird cult, or like some sort of like religious leader, or maybe it's like a boss, an owner of something. They don't feel like they're getting what they signed up for, monetarily. Is what's going on. And they're not happy about it. Now, they're pretty much just sitting here chilling, and I think they might even be a stationary object. So, like, it's not like they did work to receive whatever it is they're receiving. There's some sort of setup that they've set up that's supposed to work, and it's probably worked in the past, and it didn't work. It's not working right now, or it's not working any longer, or it didn't work this time, and they're unsatisfied. Okay, below that we have three characters. Okay, we have our Eight of Coins in the upright, which I'm getting is like this, like, okay, so this is like either a practitioner, magician, some type of creative person, you know, like an artist, entertainer, something like that. Potentially somebody that's part of the LGBTQ community, but they are somebody who is expected to make it rain monetarily. Whatever magic they got, it's the magic to make it rain. And they're in the upright, so they're not, we'll get back to it, because I'm not sure if they're receiving this Four of Coins, and that's why they're unhappy, or if they were expected to make money for this person and weren't able to for some reason. So I will figure that out. We have the Knight of Wands directly underneath in the reverse. So we have this, which I'd seen in a reading before, this like sneaky, woodsy person. This, they're like made out of leaves and branches and shit. But they're like this sneaky person, and they have an arrow that they have magic with, that they have in their hand, and they actually have a glove that they have on that I think accesses this magic for them, and it allows them to have this arrow, and they're kind of like a hunter. However, they're not a hunter of deer, I don't think, because they're riding a deer. It almost gives me the impression that they're like a hunter, and because they're a leaf person, like it almost feels to me like they're a hunter of something else. But they're in the reverse. Then we have the Eight of Wands. It's so strange, actually, because I'm pretty sure these same cards came out in a different reading prior, and that's why I'm picking up on this energy. But then we have this Eight of Wands in the upright. Yeah, in the upright. He's a musician. He's got his handmade, well, as I say that, I'm getting this feeling that maybe he's not actually a musician and that he's stealing somebody else's music. This is a homemade guitar. And it's almost giving me the impression that he's stealing this person's music and running away with it, and that's why these wands are coming after him, that he's evading them. That's the energy I'm getting right now, which is different than I've ever gotten it before. Okay, can I have a little bit more on each of these cards? Thank you. And for our Knight of Wands in the reverse. Okay, that one fell on the, I'll show you, but this one is going to be for the Knight of Wands. That one fell on the Eight of Wands. As I'm saying that out loud, I'm just realizing that these are both wands. One is in reverse, one is in the upright. However, okay. So right now, this is how we have it. A card fell out here, one fell out here directly on top of this, and so as I was trying to reshuffle, this card was just sitting by itself, and so I just took this as the card for this. But as I was saying, so I said wands out loud, and I realized that this is the Knight of Wands in the reverse, and that this is the Eight of Wands in the upright. Them both being wands for a second gave me the feeling of these wands being, is there four? Four. These wands being arrows. Which was really just kind of validating to me that this person stole somebody's music. Either stole somebody's means to make music, or stole somebody's music. All right, and then we have the Two of Cups that came out in the reverse underneath our Eight of Coins. We have the King of Wands. The King of Wands that came out in the upright underneath, such a weird card, underneath our Knight of Wands in the reverse, okay? And then underneath our Eight of Wands in the upright, we have the Page of Swords in the reverse. Okay, the Two of Cups, this always reminds me of like war. What I'm getting from it being under this Eight of Coins is that this person was essentially working for this bidder Four of Coins in order to make them money. But for whatever reason, they weren't able to weaponize their magic this way. It wasn't, because this is in the reverse, so it wasn't able to win them this battle, or they weren't able to weaponize this magic against someone. Maybe that's what it is. Like maybe normally this Eight of Coins is using this whatever magic creative skill that they have in order to make this Four of Coins money. But they weren't. And like, which almost gives me the feeling of like if they were just doing this on this own, if this magic was just out of their own creativity, that would be one thing. But because they weren't able to weaponize it, it's giving me this idea like normally they would be using their magic or their creativity to steal from someone else and they're no longer able to, or weren't able to this time, steal from this person, from whatever person, we don't know yet, in order to make this person money. Music, somehow. I guess the Eight of Wands could just be leading into creativity, but it's specifically a handmade guitar. So it's like this handmade, either kind of music, style of music, type of creativity, something very grassroots style, something very, you know, from the individual. This is like a child could craft that, right? Sort of idea. The Knight of Wands in the reverse being clarified by the King of Wands in the upright. Now, this King of Wands card is so weird to me. I haven't seen it before yet. But he basically has like this mop on his head. And then there's like a whole bunch of bubbles around. So I did notice that as like being a kind of mop. He's quite a character. He's kind of scary. He has black cats on his throne. One in an Ouroboros fashion. And then the regular ones are set up the way that lions often tend to in this type of symbology. Like when you see like a family crest. You know, you have one lion sometimes on all fours, and normally that one is when it's by itself. And then you'll have two lions facing each other when they're standing upright. We have that all going on here. There's also a black cat at his feet. He has an emerald in his crown, and he also has an emerald for an eye. And like this character is also green with that emeraldness to them. That's like the only connection I'm seeing. I wonder... It's giving me this sense of washed up. This is someone like Black Cat's like with magic, right? And this is almost like somebody who like... Because it's weird, because this scepter that they have is like, well, it's kind of giving me voodoo vibes, but it's made out of like wood. And it's like made out of wood and like those like dried seed pod things that rattle. Kind of like he shakes it and he rattles it. It's giving me major voodoo vibes. But it's almost like this person is washed up at this point because of all the suds everywhere. But why would these be connected? Right now it's alluding just like metaphorically kind of that like normally, because this is right under the Four of Coins card. So it's like normally this Four of Coins person would be able to just put on a magic glove and be able to use these arrows, be able to have this weapon that they use, that they're able to get whatever they want out of. But it's in the reverse right now. And it's causing them to be washed up. So it's kind of giving me like this is just like a general explanation of the rest of the things that I've kind of already come to. Underneath this Eight of Wands, this person's stealing the shit. It's the Page of Swords in the reverse, which it kind of has like the Strength card energy, but there's also like it's like the wind is blowing and it's real peaceful outside, and it also does have that same sense of opportunity, even if you're lacking skill, that is in the Page of Swords card. The Page of Swords is kind of like being confident in oneself, but like in a kind of innocent way. It's not like you have gone through all of these battles and that you can trust that you know how to do these things. It's more like you picked up a sword and now you're going to go fight with it. This one, though, has a little bit more assurance because she has the tiger with her, like in the Strength card. So there's like this sense of like being more confident, but it's in the reverse. But, well, and it's giving me this like now they're uncertain, where they've been certain in the past, and like as they're moving forward right now, it's like bringing on this type of anxiety. But I'm reading something else, that this magic used to make coins in the past wasn't just something that was weaponized against those that they were stealing from, but was also a way because you wouldn't weaponize the ones that you're stealing from. You're weaponizing something against them, the magic essentially. But it's not just against them, it's also against well, it's almost, I guess, just like this energy of like as you're stealing from someone, that becomes your protection, or you're like stealing in order to protect yourself, or like sort of deal, right? If that makes sense. But there's a bit of chaos going on here. Like, it doesn't seem like it's really working out in this person's favor. Let's see. Let me move these cards up just a bit. Can I have one more regarding this Knight of Wands in the reverse and this King of Wands in the upright? Underneath our Four of Coins. What's going on here? What about this person? Something definitive about this person or about this plot. Maybe about the way that it's going right now. The Queen of Coins in the upright. So you have two snakes with their heads together, but they're part of one body. And they're holding on to this baby frog. There's a snake in the grass. There's birds and bees, butterflies, and rabbits everywhere. So there's a lot of sense of abundance, of creation, of fertility. That's the right one. There's a lot of fertility in this card. And like the two snake heads together, although they're one queen, it's kind of giving me this energy of like a queen embracing her fertility that way. But she's a double-headed snake, and she's looking at this frog. So it's like she's proud of her own fertility, but like it's kind of twisted. Like maybe not necessarily, although there's so much beautiful fertility going on in the background, like she kind of gives me this sketchy energy, in part because she's a snake. There's also a snake in the grass. Like you can even see her teeth. And the way this frog is looking at her even, like she's looking at this frog like, you're my sweet little baby. And this frog is looking at her like, I think you might be a monster. But like, this is like there's nothing going on in this energy yet. So it's giving me this feeling of like, this is like maybe just, or it's almost like it's like illusionary with the roses coming out around it. Like it's giving me the sense of like, this is the one side that's being portrayed this way, But like, this is all what's going on right under the surface. Yeah, I guess I didn't get that, yeah, coming out here. Okay, I guess I'm gonna keep that over there. Let's use different cards as well. Okay, so somebody, I guess maybe I should shuffle these. I try to shuffle them before I put them away. But okay. What is it with this weaponizing this magic? Sorry, my hair. Page of Cups in the upright. One more, please. To clarify the Page of Cups. The Seven of Cups in the reverse. And it's like normally they'd be able, like it almost, I mean, this Page of Cups, like, he has a fish in his cup, but he's got a smile on his face. And he doesn't look like a fisherman. Looks like a prince of some sort, kind of. But it's almost, I mean, the page always is speaking of like embracing a certain opportunity. But it's almost like being able to like embrace, like, even when you don't get what you thought you would necessarily. Normally the cups are full of, well, at the same time, because then it's clarified by the Seven of Cups in the reverse, which is like a whole bunch of things. A whole bunch of magical things. It's gonna be like Wabajack energy. Like normally you could like you'd be able to like if you use it as a weapon, like you're using it because it's like, well, I have some control to kind of create some sort of chaos. But it's always within my capacity, so like it's fine. But right now it's like beyond what we could have expected. Or like it was already beyond what we could have expected. So is it exactly what you expected? Let's see. Let me get a couple cards for the Eight of Wands. What's going on with this music thief? This creative thief, whatever this is. The Page of Pentacles in reverse. We're where we used to be able to manifest something tangible out of these emotions. We're kind of feeling a bit chaotic right now. We're feeling like, it's almost giving me this feeling of like receiving what one put out. Like one was like trying to create chaos. I guess it's like the Two of Cups energy too in the reverse, where it's like, while we were receiving the benefit, we were trying to make somebody else receive the negative karma on our behalf. And now we're receiving that karma back. We're forced to drink what's in our cup, and it's not necessarily pleasant. This thief, like, so, I mean, I don't know for sure, like, the music thing, just because I always see that guitar. It's a handmade guitar, so it's giving me this impression of, like, you know, if somebody's sitting in their room and writing poetry or, like, making up their own songs just on their guitar and, like, going and busking or something like that. Like, it's not necessarily somebody, you're not stealing from somebody that's like well known or somebody that's well established in what it is that they're doing. And normally I don't pick up on this energy, but like I said, before I even really got into the rest of the things, I picked this up as like this guy stealing these things, and then there's like these wands coming at him. He's gotten hit at some point because he's got a crack in his head, but it's almost like, well, I've got this though, so I'm good. But right next to that, we have the Page of Pentacles in the reverse, which is almost like that's not going to hold the value for you that you're hoping that it does. All of this is coming back to bite whoever this Four of Coins person is in the ass. One more regarding this. Eight of Wands, Page of Swords, Page of Pentacles. Just because I like things to be even. I like it to be balanced, as all of my cards start spilling all over the place. Okay, hold on. The Knight of Pentacles in the upright. Okay, so the Page of Swords in the reverse is like, it's giving me that like they're going to end up having to, like, it's almost like getting caught somehow. It's already in that movement of getting caught. They haven't gotten caught fully yet, but it's moving in that direction for sure. And it's, there's an awareness of that. And it's almost like upon getting caught, you're being asked to return what was stolen. And there's a lack of confidence in that. In being able to do that, or in wanting to do that. This is like some of these cards, like they are, it's giving me the energy from the reading, and I don't remember what I called it. There's an energy, there was a reading that I did where it was talking about like this weird scheme, and there was like a toxic mother energy. Like that's what I'm getting from this Queen of Coins as well. There was like a toxic mother energy, and that's what I'm getting like this Four of Coins is. There was one reading that I did where it was really vague. There was one where it like was giving me the energy from my family members and different stuff like that. I'm not sure if they're all connected, if there's multiple different stories happening here. It kind of seems like there's a lot going on. But this is speaking on something specific. Okay, hold on, let's move these. Can I get this without knocking over my video? As I make a mess of everything. Hold on just a second. Okay, I want to. That's fine. have a card that kind of just like sums up what we're talking about here. What this is in relation to two cards that came out. Life influences. Came out like this, rather. Oh, these are so interesting because they're almost like the opposite of each other, or like a reflection of each other. I mean, these cards are so similar. They both have Saturn up here. The hands are both in a very similar position. And then this one has 3 pines, where this one has 3 wheat. And then this one is the moon, and this one is the sun. Dark day, the same. In the dark, it looks one way. In the light, it looks another way. In the dark, there's like this waterfall. There's also pines outside of it that are reflected on here. So it's like at night, it appears to be something that you would normally recognize. But during the day, it's different. And the wheat, although it's growing up together and like this is such a positive card, it's also giving me the idea of the wheat, the chaff being separated from the wheat. So it's like you can't necessarily trust that it's all wheat until it gets shaken up. And it's giving me the same vibe from the read that I did where I was talking about that dude that I had met who online, I had gotten to know him and he appeared to be a certain way. But then by the time I met him in person for the first time, it was in the dark, essentially. It was at nighttime before the sun was rising. And I got an impression of him that way. But then as the sun came up, it was almost kind of startling and kind of unnerving. One, because I was high on pot, but two, because he took on a different appearance than he had prior, and he looked very different in the light of day than he had even like virtually, like in his pictures. And that's what, like, it's giving me that idea of like, even though it looks like something that you should be able to trust, even though it seems like it's something that you already have access to, as the light actually comes up, it kind of reveals something. And like even like the moon's in the hand, but the sun is outside of the hand and like right in that little thing. So it's also like, it's like the truth is just beyond what you had grasped, but like is still within your grasp. But like in that same way too, when you shake the wheat and the chaff falls away and the truth remains in your hands. And as I'm saying that, like I'm looking back at the Page of Cups and like reminded that like the way that that's the way that karma works. You can grow up for a time, both of these, you can grow up for a time, and others can perceive you to be something familiar outside of themselves, or even something familiar that they recognize as themselves. But when karma hits, when reality hits, when the truth hits, those things do fall away. And, you know, there's like, you're forced to drink your karma, which is a fucking fish in this picture. Nobody wants to sit there and guzzle a sardine, but if that's the seeds that you've planted this way, you know, if what you've been doing is trying to manipulate some sort of system, some sort of energetic quality of things, trying to create some sort of illusion in this way, some sort of illusion in order to steal, in order to hurt, in order to benefit only yourself. You know, if you were willing to hunt down others and to steal from others, and now you're only upset because you're washed up, because you're not receiving the benefits monetarily that you thought that you were going to receive, because you're being asked to pay back what you've stolen, and because those that have been in your care that you would consider your own, even your own child, are looking at you like you're some two-headed beast. That's karma. That's karma. Sometimes it can look very beautiful. Sometimes it not so much. Sometimes when you shake it and you have that truth, it's like, oh, I've got this giant bundle of wheat. Perfect. This is exactly what I needed. Sometimes you shake it off and there's like barely any wheat because all of it was chaff and it looked like wheat, but it wasn't. And so, you know, that's the importance again of like even just the last reading I just did. You know, we're moving into a new timeline where illusions aren't holding up any longer. They're really not. They're still obviously like, I can still put makeup on. I can still put a dress on, brush my hair, and look some type of way. But like this whole everybody like being crazy for Botox and getting BBLs and that being the concept of beauty and like everybody being able to sell their souls to make enough money, to gain enough influence, to appear to be some type of way when really nobody's actually done the work themselves to become a self-actualized individual. Somebody like most of our influencers, our life influences right now aren't people that deserve any actual influence. They're just people that have sold their souls to some certain degree or compromised themselves to some certain degree to fit into the system as it has existed. That system's being done away with. And that's not going to be the case for very much longer. And it's going to come down to a point where like there isn't going to be any amount of makeup that you can put on or any amount of clothing that you can dress up in or any amount of surgery that you can get or any amount of influence that you can have that's going to deter people from the actual truth of the matter. One, in part because this isn't just an illusion just because it's in the dark. The truth is that there is, just like I said in my last reading too, like the parts of me that aren't so palatable also exist outside of me. And the parts of the world that aren't so palatable also exist within me. And as those things come to the light, there is growth there. And there is nutrients there. What we're looking for is the wheat so that we can take it on and have it become something sustainable. But it also sheds light on what isn't actually the wheat, you know. And nobody's going to escape that. So, you know, like in those cards, in the Four of Coins, like you can be as upset as you want to be that things aren't going your way, but that's only because you've never done things the way that they were supposed to be honest. As this wheel continues to turn, those that are doing what they're supposed to be doing will reap the benefits of it. Those that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing will reap the benefits of that, or the karma, regardless. Karma, dharma, you know. And there's a fine balance there. Like, I'm, you know, struggling with finances myself because I haven't maintained a certain level of work. I haven't been willing to sacrifice certain things. And at the same time, I've also continued to trust in something beyond that and continue to do what I believe that I'm called to do in different ways. And I've been, you know, working on being as humble as possible about it and being as honest as possible about who I am, what I do, what I'm here for, you know, and those things are going to end up speaking for themselves. That I have absolutely full assurance of. So I'm not sure exactly what, you know, I don't know if that was speaking just directly on a very personal experience of mine, or, you know, there's nothing that I experience that other people don't also experience, to be honest. I might have a unique story in certain ways, but ultimately it's relatable to many people in a lot of different ways. It's relatable really to everybody in different bits and pieces. And, you know, I would just warn, if you're somebody that has been trying to steal from others and trying to manipulate certain systems and trying to use, if you've been like paying some sort of sorcerer or some sort of magician or witch or whatever for things to move in your direction, you can anticipate that you're not only not going to see monetary benefits of that, but you're going to end up having to drink out of the cup that you've been pouring into, and what you've been pouring into that is shit. So don't be surprised when life starts handing you shit. If you're somebody that's, that can't handle the truth. How was it put earlier in a meditation just between these two videos that I made? Somebody being mad about the truth, or somebody feeling betrayed by the truth. If you feel betrayed by the truth, you're all sorts of off. You're already all sorts of off. Because even if the truth is that, like, oh, this person that I loved and cared for and thought was my best friend has been lying this whole time, manipulating only to steal from me, you can feel stabbed in the back by that truth. But, like, to feel betrayed by the truth, like, the truth isn't betraying you. The truth is actually what's revealing the betrayal. Right? The betrayal was happening not by the truth, by the lies. The betrayal was the lies. So embrace the truth, because the truth is the thing that's setting you free from being connected to liars and people that are trying to rob you. Don't blame the truth. Cling to the truth. Be truthful yourself. Try to come into these things as much as possible, because like I'm telling you, we're coming very quickly into this time, and I've been prophesying about this since I was 15. I had a vision about it when I was a teenager. I didn't know what I was talking about. But when Google became a thing, I was telling people eventually every single thing that you do on the internet is going to come out. You don't think it, but it's all going to come out. And it's not going to be a pretty picture for anybody, myself included. But that's the importance of being able to stand true in who you are. There's so many things I've done in the past that I just no longer affiliate with, to the point that, like, I can say, yes, I have done that in the past. I haven't done it since then, and I will not do it again. That's the best that I have. I rest assured on those things, because I know that the world is a fucked up place and that we've all done really fucked up things. I don't expect perfection from anybody, and I don't believe that the universe is expecting perfection from anybody either. The universe isn't perfect, and it knows us very well. The same thing with, like, perfect symmetry and creating this, like, these transhumanist concepts. They don't actually exist. That isn't a real concept. Reality is very, the balance of which is all sorts of, imperfections coming together in a way that is balanced. It is the imperfection that makes it balanced. So it's not about being perfect. It's about being genuine, right? And we're coming into a time, we're getting there closer and closer, where things that are disingenuous are not going to have the same influence that they have had. They're simply not going to. It's all being shaken up, and the chaff is falling away. I'm here for it. You're obviously here for it too. We're all here together. The best thing that you can do is be true to yourself so that you can be true to others. I'm not saying that you have to constantly go and tell everybody all of your secrets or everything about you, but do try to be as true to yourself as possible. And remind yourself that that's like that's a whole nother subject, what being true to yourself really is. Ask the divine to guide you. Let the universe guide you into your truest self. Don't seek outside of yourself for validation as to who you are, but don't be afraid to step outside of yourself in order to see yourself clearly. There is a balance in those things. And maybe I'll have to do a video on how to find the truth of yourself, because so many people are so convinced that, surgeries, hormones, doing your hair a certain way, wearing a certain type of clothing, pumping up a certain type of muscle, eating a certain type of food, voting a certain type of way, having a certain amount of money, working a certain type of job, praying to a certain type of God, like that those are the things that identify us as who we truly are. And that is simply not the case. And we're coming very quickly into a time where those things aren't going to continue to hold up. And I just don't want people to feel so lost and confused and broken in all of it. If that's what it takes for you to come to yourself, by all means. I've been there too. I'm still going through it. But I don't want it to force people into a position of being, well, you know, desperate. Even then, I mean, it all serves a purpose. It all serves a purpose. Who am I to say? Those that have eyes, let them see. Those that have ears, let them hear. And those that have a heart to receive, let them receive what is true and what is best and what is really meant for us. So that all things can come into balance the way that it should be, the way that it's not been for quite some time. I'm ready for it. I think we're all ready for it, whether we want to believe that or not. All right. Thanks for listening. This is all I got for this video. I don't know if I'll be making another one or not tonight, but I do appreciate the time and energy that you take to listen, and I do hope that it serves you well, even if it just gets you thinking, even if it just, you know, I continue to say everything I say isn't right. This is all just my opinion. This is all just from my personal experience. That's the best that I've got, and I'm just trying to give it as genuinely as possible. You know, I'm not higher or better than anybody else in any sort of way. You know, I just try to communicate as best as I can so that people can receive whatever they can from it, whatever they're meant to from it, and hopefully that serves you. All right, I love you, and I will see you in the next video.